Thanks for joining us on Tandem Radio for a very special segment, By Design, focused on helping you understand how God designed you so that you may be healthy and productive in fulfilling God's purposes in your life for many years to come. Now let's join our host, health expert and public speaker, Dr. James Proodian.
Hello, welcome to the By Design radio program. My name is Dr. James Proodian of Proodian Healthcare and ProodianHealthcare.com, where health literacy is the key to longevity. And as long as God has us on this side of eternity, my show is designed to educate you and your families to feel better, function better, and live as many quality, disease-free years as possible. Thanks for joining me today. Last week's program, we ended with a subject matter on toxification and detoxification, which is the opposite of toxification. And we're going to pick up where we left off from last week's show, because this conversation is one where we're going to begin the process. And if you go back and look at the prior shows, each show is meant to build upon one another. Kind of like when the kids are on the beach and they put 4 people on the bottom, then 3, then 2, then 1, build a pyramid. That's what education is all about. It's cumulative, and the cumulative process is to learn at a very foundational level how God designed our bodies and what the design process was from its origination and how far we've gotten away from that. So Luke 1:37, for with God nothing is impossible, nor is your health. The state of health that you're in, never surrender it. We could always improve upon the things that we're doing with our physical, our nutritional, and our psychological health. And as we talked about last time, we spoke through the 9 points that make up this program, and those 9 points make up what's called functional medicine. And those 9 points are ways in which we think. I want you to start thinking about connecting the dots within your life as each one of these bricks are built into the pyramid on how we're going to rid ourselves of toxins, how we're going to regulate hormones, how we're going to build a stronger immune system. We're going to improve the inflammatory responses our body has and to diminish inflammation in our body. We're going to look at digestion and the absorption of nutrients. We're going to look at the health of the digestive system, our structural integrity, our spiritual walk, and how to produce energy. And those 9 points each show, I'm going to drive them home. I learned a long time that repetition is the finest form of learning. And we have to go over things over and over again in order for them to sink into our heads. And those 9 points are the very backdrop of the show. And last time, we opened the show, we got into the meat of the show on toxification. What detoxification was, I gave you some anatomy and physiology around toxification. And one of the things that I want to make a point of is never take anything that I'm saying like I'm picking on you. When I'm public speaking, I always make the joke that everybody in the room or everybody I'm speaking to is doing everything right, but those people out on Route 9 are really screwed up. Because if you look at the state of our nation and how unhealthy we are, there's a lot of people out there just doing the wrong things and not following the design of the designer. So in our last show, when we talked about detoxification, we talked about our toxification centers. Our toxification centers are our liver and our kidney. There's others, but those two are the ones we're really going to focus on, because as we eat and digest food and other things that we're putting into our body, they have to go through our intestine and then dumped right into the liver to be detoxified. Because the body is so doggone smart, it does not want you or me to be recirculating toxins in the body. So at the liver, those toxins have to undergo phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification. And the example I shared with you last time was that water going into the glass. Our liver can't overflow, so the hole in the bottom of the glass has to be big enough that it's processing the water coming in so it never overflows. Because if that glass overflows, that means we're recirculating toxins. Got it? I can't see it, but I know you're shaking your head up and down. So good. So what we want to do is, as we look at the way the liver undergoes natural, God-given, phase 1, phase 2 detoxification, the toxic burden on our body is the accumulation of toxins that our body are dealing with. And they come from a variety of sources, and they start in the womb. So here, there's some recent reports that show that chemicals, pollutants, and pesticides in umbilical cord blood, 287 of these chemicals were detected in the blood, the newborn blood of newborns, in the actual umbilical cord blood from pesticides, consumer products, etc. Now, 180 of these 287 chemicals are known to cause cancer in humans. Now, 217 of those are toxic to the brain and to the nervous system. So throughout our lives, we're in constant contact with environmental toxins that are leading to health concerns and a variety of areas. So you got to ask yourself, where are these toxins coming from? Well, Proodian, you got these toxins coming into me. You're telling me it's in the umbilical cord blood. Where is it coming from? Well, the CDC, the Center of Disease Control, did a study and tested 212 chemicals that were found in the urine and blood of most Americans. So out of the 212 chemicals, 6 of them were found in virtually every person that were identified by the CDC, and potential health hazards come from them. So what are those 6? So here are 6 of the most widely spread chemicals found in virtually all Americans. We got PDEs, which are used as flame retardants, but PDEs are known to build up in human fat tissue, causing damage to the nervous system, the liver, and the kidneys. And one thing you're going to hear about these 6, toxins love fat tissue, nervous system, liver, and kidneys. That's where they love to be stored, and they love to cause damage. So these PDEs also cause problems also in thyroid and brain. So one of the places that you find PDEs are in the pajamas of what our kids wear to bed. So PDEs, you could look those up, and they're used as a flame retardant. You could look those up on a browser if you want to learn a little more about any of these that I talked to you about today. Number 2, BPAs. Now, BPAs are found primarily in like plastic products and can linings. Primarily, human exposure is through food packaging plastic. So when we look at these again, we look at where they're coming from, man-made product that was not really in God's design, that are toxic to our system. And once again, impact nervous system, brain tissue, thyroid. Number 3 are PFOAs. Now, a lot of us cook with non-cook cookware and other heat-resistant products, and that's where these are found. And the PFOAs contribute to reproductive problems, liver, and immune system dysfunction. Once again, look those up. And remember, if you're using Teflon pans or a coated pan, and you know how you should be using a plastic spatula, which kind of defies the law that we're taking plastic and putting it over high heat, which I'm not so crazy about. But you know how sometimes a Teflon pan will have a scratch in it? If your coating is scratched, please throw the pan away, because that is now releasing potentially hazardous and toxic chemicals into the food. Cast iron is a wonderful thing to be cooking on. They last forever. Grandma's old pans still work the best. And of course, stainless. Number 4 is acrylamide, acrylamide. This is a chemical carcinogen that is formed in when carbohydrate foods are cooked at high temperatures. Like, I know you're not eating any of these things, like French fries or fried chicken. They all have they give off this chemical, which is a known carcinogen, neurological dysfunction. Number 5 is mercury. Common exposure is in seafood, and it causes brain damage. So how mercury has gotten into our seafood is for another show, but I'm sure everybody listening to this program is well aware that heavy metal poisoning, such as mercury, is very toxic to us, and the amount of mercury that's being found in seafood is somewhat alarming. Number 6 and the last one are MTBEs. This is a gasoline additive. It's not currently used in the United States. It's currently detected in our bodies due to secondhand smoke. Once again, I don't know anyone listening to me is not a smoker, because we know that's bad for us, but plenty of people out on Route 9 are smoking, and secondhand smoke is pretty detrimental. So my point is, when we're looking at these 6 compounds, these are only 6 out of 212 that are found in the blood and urine of many people. These commonly excessive toxic burdens to our body cause fatigue, depression, headaches, brain fog, memory problems, and a host of neurological problems. Was that the design? Were we designed to be accumulating and processing this many toxins on a day-to-day basis? And the answer is no. This is man interjecting its way into our lives and providing us things that aren't necessarily good for us, that cause a host of problems like allergies and asthma and fibromyalgia and fertility problems and birth defects and bone marrow cancers and lymphomas and leukemias and chronic infections and autoimmune diseases such as lupus and rheumatoid arthritis, Hashimoto's thyroiditis. These are things that are now studied and proven to be connected with over-toxicity or toxicity in general. And patients are routinely exposed to heavy metal toxins through food, through groundwater, through industrial waste, and exposure to industrial environments. Now, when we look at toxicity, and going back to my glass of water, let's bring the show together and connect the dots. This is kind of scary stuff, and I don't want anybody out there to be, I want you to look in your cabinets, and I do want you to look at what you're shopping and you're buying and what you're bringing into your house. Something as simple as taking your shoes off before you come into the house, because on the bottom of your shoes, you may have walked across the lawn where there were pesticides. Simple solutions. Think about how toxins are being assimilated and accumulated in our bodies, and we want to try to remove the host. So if we look at some of the things that we know are toxic to us, and I haven't gotten into the nutritional part of this, but I will in future shows, I'm just bringing to light the biology of the human body and how our bodies were designed to process and excrete toxins. And that process of the excretion of toxins isn't happening as rapidly as the toxins are coming into us. So with that, we have to detoxify. Now in our next shows, we're going to talk about the detoxification methodology to some of these industrial-borne toxins. And also we're going to be going over the nutritional toxins and how to detoxify from that. And you've been listening to the By Design radio program, and thank you for joining me, Dr. James Proodian, for this episode. I really, hopefully this is making an improvement in your life. And if you'd like more information about me or Proodian Healthcare, please go to ProodianHealthcare.com. It's spelled Proodian. Keep your questions brief if you do submit questions. And in this upcoming week, I want you to do something new for your own personal health and wellness, for you and your families. I want you to be well, and God bless you all. Thank you.
You've been listening to By Design with Dr. James Proodian of Proodian Healthcare. To learn more, visit us at tandemradio.com, that's tandemradio.com, or on Facebook. And don't forget to email us with your questions. We'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, hope you have a healthy week, and we look forward to you joining us next time for more fantastic insights from Dr. James Proodian on By Design, a special production of Tandem Radio.